I'm so excited, man. Today, ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute honor and privilege to do a video on the Epiphone Prophecy Les Paul. Oh man, this thing is so cool. I can't wait to share it with you all. Let's get into it. So what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. My name's Ray. I'm a guitar player here on YouTube. And man, oh man, have I been wrong about Epiphone in the years past. Before I explain myself and before I share everything I possibly can with this guitar, if you're brand new to my channel or you've yet to hit that subscribe button, please help me out. I got you here now, man. Please subscribe to the channel. It would mean a lot and it would make me happy, all right, man? So thank you so much in advance, seriously, for supporting me and helping me out. Yeah, I just hope you enjoy the video and I hope you enjoy the tone, so thanks in advance. It means a lot. So like I said in the intro, I've been so wrong with Epiphone, man. I kind of just never really gave them the time of day, and I'm kicking myself for doing it. And especially with the Epiphone Prophecy series. So the specs of this guitar are as follows. First off, mahogany body, mahogany neck, as you would expect with a Les Paul, right? Next, we have Fishman active pickups with all the Fishman glories, that is different voicings and splittable for all 4 pots. So if that's your vibe, that's awesome, right? 24 jumbo frets. That's huge, man. I love jumbo frets, and 24 frets, 2 octaves, that's cool too, man. You know, nothing wrong with having a little bit more to shred on, you know what I mean? We also have an asymmetrical neck, chunky on the low end, more shreddy and thin on the higher end of strings. Stock locking tuners, which is awesome, super killer. We also have a tummy cut and a super high access cutaway where the body meets the neck, man. So it's just, all in all, these specs are just so beautiful, man. Oh yeah, it's got an ebony board too, and block inlays, if you couldn't see that already. But all in all, everybody, this is just everything I could want in a Les Paul shape and a Les Paul body, and it's so sick on paper. But now, how does it sound, all right? So this guitar is tuned to drop C sharp, okay, everybody? This guitar, for the playthrough and the demo, is going into a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier 50th anniversary, alright? The gold one that I've got. I'm going to be doing a demo song, then coming back and then just hanging out, just doing some chugs, doing some whidleys. But I'll do my best to showcase the tones and showcase what I think is cool about this guitar. And then after all that, we'll come back, we'll wrap up this guitar. I'll give you guys the positives and the negatives of this guitar. And yeah, man, we'll just wrap it up, alright? So I got a lot to show you. I'm not going to waste any more time talking. Let's get into all that right now. ladies and gentlemen, that is everything I could share with you all. Honestly, my honest opinion, guys. This is me, Ray. No sponsorship, no endorsement, no nothing. Just me and you hanging out right now. Honest to God, might be one of the best Les Pauls I've ever played in my life. And I'm not just saying that because of the honeymoon phase or whatever. I'm being dead serious, ladies and gentlemen. I picked up this guitar personally at the Cherry Hill Guitar Center, a little bit further than the Wilmington, Delaware one. Shout out Cherry Hill, New Jersey. What's up, everybody? But yeah, in all seriousness, man, like I've had it for a couple days, and I fell in love with it at the store, but I'm doing my very best to not let the honeymoon phase and the honeymoon stage of this guitar alter my opinions. But honestly, ladies and gentlemen, this guitar is, like I said, almost perfect. Almost everything I could possibly want with a Les Paul. But is this guitar 1000% perfect? Honestly, guys, no, it's not. There's a couple things that I really don't like about it. The first one that I really strongly dislike is, in fact, weight relief. I don't like weight relief, especially with Gibsons, and especially with Les Pauls, man. I think these guitars are supposed to be heavy. It's like the heart and soul of a Les Paul. It's the weight, man. And generally speaking, every time that I picked up a Gibson Les Paul, and had weight relief, it just didn't sound as good as some of the ones that weren't weight relief. Now, it's just a personal preference. That's just my opinion. But I think this guitar, if it wasn't weight relieved, I think it would sound even better. But maybe not. Maybe that's just in my head. But above all, it just doesn't feel right. It feels a little too dainty and a little too light. And the feel alone is something that is objective. You know what I mean? Like, you know, sound is certainly subjective, but feel is objective in my opinion. And it feels like a lighter guitar, and I wish it just had more body to it, more weight to it, you know what I mean? The next thing I'm not perfectly too fond of, but again, this is personal preference, is all the push-pull pots and the different voicings of the Fishman Fluence pickups. Reason being, guys, honestly, just between you and I, if I want a single coil sound, I'll grab a different guitar. I'll grab a Strat. I'm not really too much of a fan of like too many bells and whistles on guitars. But again, I understand where some people can't afford multiple guitars, and sometimes they want all the tones and all the sounds in one guitar. I get it. And it ultimately just makes this guitar more desirable and more marketable, right? You can get literally every single sound you want out of this guitar. But for me personally, if I could be a little biased and a little bit of put my own personal spin on it, I wish it just had one voicing and no push-pull like single coil stuff. You know what I mean? When I say one voicing, Fishmans have multiple voicings. They have a modern and then kind of a classic. I'm totally content with one or the other. Just give me one and then give me no push-pull for like single coils, and I'll be set, man. You know what I mean? So that's just my own personal opinion. It's just a little too much. The more things you have moving on your guitar, the more options you have to have something go wrong. I kind of like less is more type of thing, you know what I mean? So that's just my own personal opinion. I have one mixed aspect with this guitar visually. These knobs right here, I kind of wish they were kind of the more traditional Gibson knobs, you know what I mean? Like the speed knobs. I'm not really a fan of these metal domes. I think it kind of looks off, especially for a Gibson. Kind of or an Epiphone, a Les Paul. It kind of just reminds me of like an LTD or something like that. I just wish it had like the traditional speed, you know, Gibson style knobs. But again, that's just a personal preference. But now, I've given you the negatives, one mixed. Let's talk about the positives. First positive, elephant in the room, sounds killer. Sounds like a metal Les Paul, and that is an absolute awesome thing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, anytime you get something sounding heavy and huge and just sick and just it chugs, that's a win-win-win, right? So it sounds great. So first and foremost, sounds killer. The second thing that I love about this guitar is the overall aesthetic and vibe. You know, when I first heard and saw the Prophecy series, I was really skeptical in the sense that I was afraid it was going to be a little bit too gimmicky and a little too futuristic. And that's just, you know, my own personal judgment, I guess. I like things to be kind of a traditional style and a traditional type of feel, an old school feel, a vintage feel. And I was afraid that the Prophecy series was going to be trying to be something other than a Les Paul, for example. And I think the Explorer shape, I think, what's it called, like the Extra or something like that? I think that's kind of like what I was afraid that the Les Paul was going to be, like this kind of weird futuristic shape. Anyway, this guitar has so much vintage vibes to it, man. Like I said, this kind of looks like a 1979, 1980 old school aged silver burst, or even like a tobacco burst or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, look at this thing. This does not look that modern, and I love it for that. I think this is the best Les Paul finish that the Epiphones have, the Epiphone Prophecies have. So I love it, man. Then also too, speaking of looks, we also have the split diamond, the iconic Les Paul custom diamond on the headstock, as well as these sick block inlays with these kind of crazy triangles. It just, it just looks great, man. It just looks like an awesome guitar. It really does. And then the last two positives coincide with one another, but 24 frets and jumbo frets. The one thing I don't like about Gibson Les Pauls, standards and customs, is they come standard, they come stock with these really dainty small frets. I don't like those small frets, especially for a metal player, and I find it really puzzling how players like them. I think the bigger the frets, the better a guitar plays, because you can really grab it and really just like, you know, just make it scream that much easier and that much better. So anyway, the fact that this has 24 frets, that's cool, but it has jumbo frets. It just makes me love to play it that much more, just because I'm used to jumbo frets and they just feel right for me. So yeah, it just feels great, man. So ladies and gentlemen, to wrap up this video, I would go as far as to say I'm pretty blown away by the Epiphone Prophecy series, the Les Paul Prophecy. Spoiler alert, but it blows my Epiphone Silverburst Les Paul Custom out of the water. It is night and day, and I love that guitar. This guitar kills that guitar, and you guys will hear that in like a shootout in the future, but for right now we'll just stick with this guitar. But honestly guys, this guitar, it sounds great and it plays almost as great as like my 92 standard or my 78 standard, and honestly because of the jumbo frets, it plays better than my 2021 Gibson Les Paul standard. It's just easier for me to play, and I enjoy playing it more. So, you know, I love this guitar, man. I'm so excited that I was able to pick one up and share it with you all. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's everything I could share with this guitar. I've ranted and I've raved enough about this guitar. I love it, man. And above all, I just hope you enjoyed hanging out with me and enjoyed just listen to me talk and listen to me jam a little bit, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're brand new to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. A huge shout out to all my returning viewers and a huge shout out to all my patrons. I love you guys so much, man. You guys are awesome. So I'm out of here. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay metal. I'll see you guys next time. Later.